When I turned off my car engine in front of that abandoned gate, the last thing I expected to see was a handwritten note saying, "Turn off your headlights, they know you're here." There is a specific kind of silence that only night shift workers truly understand. It's a heavy, suffocating silence that presses against your ears the moment you leave the city lights behind. I worked as a delivery driver for a local pizzeria for almost 2 years, so I was used to deserted streets. But the shift that ends at 3 a.m. always brings a strange, gut-wrenching feeling. It was a freezing Friday in the middle of winter when the final order came through the system. Exactly at 2:40 a.m., the restaurant was already closing up. The chairs were flipped on top of the tables and the sharp smell of cleaning products filled the air. The address was a dirt road I had never heard of, located way out on the rural edge of the county. Since the payment had already been pre-approved online, I just threw the thermal pizza bag onto the passenger seat and started the engine. As the streetlights grew sparse, a thick, white fog swallowed the highway. The moment my tires hit the dirt road, civilization completely vanished. My headlights could barely cut through that dense, damp curtain of white mist ahead of me. My GPS completely froze about 5 minutes before I arrived. The screen just showed a dead straight line in the middle of nowhere. I kept moving forward slowly, the tires slipping slightly in the mud, until my headlights illuminated a dead end. It was a massive, old iron gate, the kind you see at abandoned ranches, completely rusted over and wrapped in thick chains that looked untouched for decades. Behind it, overgrown weeds and dead branches swallowed whatever property used to be there. There were no lights, no windows, no signs of life. I figured the customer had made a typo. I pulled out my phone to check the app, but the screen displayed no service. To hear if anyone was walking around out there, I turned off the car engine. That was my biggest mistake. The moment the engine died, the freezing night air seemed to pierce through the cabin instantly. That was when I noticed a detail that made me freeze. Attached to the crooked mailbox next to the gate, there was a piece of gray duct tape holding a torn piece of paper. I pointed my phone's flashlight through the foggy window. Written by hand in a shaky, desperate handwriting, it said, "Turn off your headlights. They know you're here." My stomach dropped instantly. This wasn't a mistake. It was an ambush. My entire body locked up in a pure fight-or-flight reflex, and I immediately reached out to throw the car into reverse. But when I looked at my rearview mirror, my heart skipped a beat. Right in the middle of the road I had just driven down, less than 30 feet behind my vehicle, 3 thick tree trunks were laid flat across the dirt path. They blocked my only escape route entirely. And worst of all, the fresh tracks in the mud showed they had been dragged there within the last few minutes. I was trapped. Before the panic could make me scream, the car subtly rocked to the side. The distinct sound of snapping twigs and heavy footsteps came from the passenger side, right outside the window. Something or someone was standing in the pitch-black woods, just inches away from my glass, waiting for me to step out. Pure terror turned into raw adrenaline. I slammed the key in the ignition. The engine coughed, hesitated for one agonizing second that almost made me pass out, and finally roared to life. I didn't look to the sides. I threw it into first gear, ripped the steering wheel to the left, and floored the gas pedal. The car smashed against the side of the barricade, riding up onto the dirt embankment. I heard the violent sound of metal scraping against wood and branches snapping beneath the tires, but I didn't look back. I buried my foot on the accelerator, fishtailing in the mud, pushing the transmission to its absolute limit until my tires finally bit into the asphalt of the main highway. I never went back to that pizzeria. I left my car with its side completely mangled in my garage, sent a text message to the manager saying I was quitting due to a family emergency, and blocked his number. I never reported it to the police. What was I supposed to say? That faceless people tried to trap me on a dirt road that isn't even on the map? Today, I work an office job downtown under bright white lights and surrounded by people. But every single time the clock strikes 3 a.m. and I hear a motorcycle or a car slowing down in front of my house, I feel that exact same cold sweat on the back of my neck. I run to the window, double-check every single lock, and wonder, who made that order and what would have happened if my engine had failed for just 2 more seconds in that darkness?